Another day, another story. The Great Mosque of Mecca, also known as the Masjid al-Haram, is one of the most sacred and important religious sites in Islam. It holds a central place in the hearts and minds of Muslims around the world. The history of the Great Mosque of Mecca is deeply intertwined with the history of Islam itself. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. Pre-Islamic Era. Before the advent of Islam, the Arabian Peninsula was home to various tribes and religious beliefs. The city of Mecca, in what is now Saudi Arabia, was a significant trading center due to its location along trade routes. The Kaaba, a cube-shaped building at the heart of the mosque, was a place of religious significance for many Arabian tribes, housing various idols and gods. The birth of Islam. In the early 7th century CE, the Prophet Muhammad received revelations from Allah, God, through the angel Gabriel, which later became the Quran. He preached monotheism and the worship of the one true God, Allah, challenging the prevalent polytheistic beliefs. His message gained a following, and the early Muslim community faced persecution in Mecca. The Hijra, migration, in 622 CE, due to mounting persecution, Muhammad and his followers migrated to the city of Yathrib, later known as Medina. This event, known as the Hijra, marks the beginning of the Islamic lunar calendar. Over the years, the Muslim community in Medina grew in strength and numbers. Conquest of Mecca. In 630 CE, after years of negotiations and skirmishes, Muhammad and his followers marched back to Mecca with a large force. The city eventually surrendered without significant resistance. Muhammad cleansed the Kaaba of its idols, reestablishing it as a center of monotheistic worship. The Great Mosque of Mecca was then expanded and renovated to accommodate the growing Muslim community. Expansion and renovation. In the years following the conquest of Mecca, successive Islamic rulers expanded and renovated the Great Mosque. The most notable expansion was during the reign of Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab in the 7th century and later under various Umayyad, Abbasid, and Ottoman rulers. These expansions included enlarging the mosque's courtyard and adding more columns and prayer spaces. Restoration and modernization. In recent decades, the Saudi government has undertaken extensive renovations and expansions of the Great Mosque to accommodate the ever-increasing number of pilgrims visiting Mecca for the annual Hajj pilgrimage and Umrah. The mosque's most prominent feature is the Kaaba, which remains at its center. Significance and pilgrimage. The Great Mosque of Mecca is not just a place of worship but also the focal point of the Hajj pilgrimage, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Every year, millions of Muslims from around the world visit Mecca to perform the Hajj and circumambulate the Kaaba, following the footsteps of Prophet Abraham and his family. Architecture and layout. The Great Mosque of Mecca covers a vast area, with the Kaaba at its center. The mosque's interior is adorned with intricate Islamic architecture, including arches, minarets, and calligraphy. The black stone, Hajar al-Aswad, is embedded in the Kaaba's eastern corner and is revered by pilgrims, who try to touch or kiss it during the circumambulation. The black stone, Hajar al-Aswad, is a cornerstone of the Kaaba. According to Islamic tradition, it was originally white but turned black due to the sins of humanity. It is believed to have been a gift from the angel Gabriel to Prophet Abraham and his son, Ishmael. Pilgrims try to touch or kiss it during the tawaf, the circumambulation of the Kaaba, as a symbol of their submission to God. The expansion by Caliph Abdullah ibn Zubair. After the Umayyad Caliphate, the Great Mosque underwent several expansions. One of the most significant was initiated by Caliph Abdullah ibn Zubair during the late 7th century. He wanted to restore the mosque's original dimensions and was successful in achieving a major renovation. The Ottoman Era. During the Ottoman Empire's rule over Mecca, many architectural enhancements were made to the Great Mosque. The Ottomans added several domes and minarets, further embellishing the mosque's appearance. These additions are still evident in the mosque's architecture today. Famous visitors. Over the centuries, the Great Mosque has attracted numerous notable figures from Islamic history, including scholars, leaders, and rulers. Their contributions to Islamic thought and culture often had a profound impact on the mosque and its surroundings. The Clock Tower. In recent years, as part of modernization efforts, the Abraj al-Bayt Towers complex was built near the Great Mosque. The complex includes the iconic Abraj al-Bayt clock tower, which is one of the tallest buildings in the world. It features the largest clock face in the world and has become a prominent landmark of Mecca. The Great Mosque's role in Islamic unity. The Great Mosque of Mecca plays a significant role in fostering unity among Muslims worldwide. It is a place where Muslims from diverse backgrounds come together for worship, emphasizing the universality of Islam and the idea of the Ummah, the global Muslim community. Renovations and modernization challenges. The continuous expansion and renovation of the Great Mosque pose unique challenges, including preserving its historical significance while accommodating the ever-increasing number of pilgrims. The Saudi government has invested heavily in advanced technologies and infrastructure to manage these challenges. The Kaaba's covering. The Kaaba is covered with a black silk and gold curtain known as the Kiswa. It is replaced annually during the Hajj pilgrimage. The Kiswa is a symbol of reverence for the Kaaba and its significance in Islam. These additional stories and facts provide a deeper understanding of the Great Mosque of Mecca's rich history and its enduring importance in the Islamic world. The Zamzam Well. Inside the Great Mosque complex, there is the Zamzam Well. According to Islamic tradition, this well miraculously appeared in the desert at the time of Prophet Abraham and his wife Hagar. It is the same well from which Hagar and her son Ishmael drank when they were left in the desert. Pilgrims to Mecca often drink from the Zamzam well, considering its water to be sacred and blessed. The Abraha invasion. In the pre-Islamic period, there was a significant event known as the Year of the Elephant. Abraha, an Abyssinian Christian ruler, attempted to destroy the Kaaba with his army of elephants in the 6th century CE. According to Islamic tradition, God miraculously thwarted his plans by sending a flock of birds carrying stones to defeat the invaders. This event is mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Fil, and is a testament to the sanctity of the Kaaba. The holy cities of Mecca and Medina, together with the Prophet's mosque in Medina, the Great Mosque of Mecca is one of the holiest sites in Islam. Muslims are encouraged to visit both cities during their lifetime, and performing the Hajj pilgrimage and Umrah requires visiting Mecca. The connection between these two cities is deeply rooted in Islamic history and spirituality. The changing skyline of Mecca. The city of Mecca has undergone a significant transformation in recent decades. The skyline surrounding the Great Mosque has seen the construction of numerous high-rise buildings and hotels to accommodate the millions of pilgrims who visit each year. This urban development has altered the city's landscape significantly. The multicultural aspect. During the Hajj pilgrimage, Mecca becomes a melting pot of cultures and nationalities. Muslims from every corner of the globe gather to fulfill their religious obligations. This diversity highlights the universal appeal of Islam and the mosque's role as a unifying force among Muslims. The importance of tawaf. The act of tawaf, the circumambulation of the Kaaba, is a central ritual of the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimages. Pilgrims walk counterclockwise around the Kaaba 7 times, symbolizing their devotion to God and their unity with other Muslims. Tawaf is a deeply spiritual and emotional experience for those who undertake it. The Kaaba's dimensions. The Kaaba is a cube-shaped structure, approximately 13.1 meters, 43 feet, high, with sides measuring about 11.03 meters, 36.2 feet. It is a simple stone building, covered in a black silk and gold curtain, emphasizing the Islamic principle of humility before God. The circumstances of the revelation. The Great Mosque is not only where the Kaaba is located but also the place where many verses of the Quran were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad by the angel Gabriel. This adds to the mosque's spiritual significance in Islam. The cleaning of the Kaaba. The annual cleaning of the Kaaba, known as Kiswa Changing Ceremony, is a significant event. Each year, a new covering, Kiswa, is placed over the Kaaba on the 9th day of Dhu al-Hijra, just before the Hajj pilgrimage begins. This tradition has been ongoing for centuries and symbolizes the renewal of the mosque's spiritual significance. Abdullah ibn Zubayr's stand. During the Umayyad Caliphate, Caliph Abdul Malik ibn Marwan wanted to replace the original wooden roof of the Kaaba with a copper one. Abdullah ibn Zubayr, a prominent figure in early Islamic history, opposed this idea, believing it would compromise the mosque's authenticity. He even rebuilt the Kaaba to its original dimensions when he briefly controlled Mecca. This episode reflects the strong connection between the mosque and its historical integrity. The Great Mosque's role in Islamic education. Besides being a place of worship, the Great Mosque has historically served as a center for Islamic education and scholarship. Scholars would gather here to discuss and disseminate knowledge about Islam and its teachings. The Safa and Marwa Hills. In close proximity to the Great Mosque, the Safa and Marwa Hills are 2 small mountains. As part of the Hajj and Umrah rituals, pilgrims perform the Sa'i, which involves walking 7 times between these 2 hills, symbolizing the actions of Hagar, who searched for water for her son Ishmael in the desert. The miraculous splitting of the moon. Islamic tradition tells of a miraculous event when the Prophet Muhammad split the moon into 2 halves by the command of God. This event is mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Qamar, and is seen as a sign of the Prophet's prophethood. While it didn't directly happen at the Great Mosque, it's a significant part of Islamic history and reinforces the importance of the mosque. The expansion during King Fahd's reign. In the late 20th century, under the reign of King Fahd of Saudi Arabia, the Great Mosque underwent a massive expansion project. This expansion included the construction of the King Fahd Gate, new minarets, and the expansion of the mosque's prayer area to accommodate more worshippers. The role of the Imam. The Great Mosque has a designated prayer leader, known as the Imam of the Haram. This prestigious position involves leading the daily prayers and special prayers during the Hajj and other significant Islamic events. The selection of the Imam is a matter of great importance and consideration. Modern technological advancements. The Great Mosque has embraced modern technology, including high-tech crowd management systems, air conditioning, and advanced audio-visual facilities to assist pilgrims during their worship and rituals. These technological enhancements have improved the overall experience for visitors. These additional stories and details further enhance the profound history and significance of the Great Mosque of Mecca in the lives of Muslims and the broader context of Islamic faith and culture. In conclusion, the history of the Great Mosque of Mecca is deeply intertwined with the history of Islam, from its pre-Islamic origins as a place of tribal worship to its central role in the Islamic faith as a focal point for prayer, pilgrimage, and devotion. It has undergone significant expansion and renovation over the centuries to accommodate the growing Muslim community and remains one of the most sacred and revered sites in the world of Islam. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.